Welcome back to the Telosive EV podcast, ladies and gentlemen. And thank God the news actually broke before we started recording today. That's refreshing.
What news?
What news?
Oh, you don't know? I heard about it on X.
Don't know what that is.
Me neither.
Who? You're talking to your ex? That's not good. Does Luis know?
My
This is
ex told
inappropriate.
me, Foundation series officially over.
Oh, thank God.
Like they actually stopped branding it as Foundation.
If you go to Tesla's website and you order
Right
a
now.
Cybertruck, it's just the non-Foundation series now. No more Foundation options.
I like this.
It's a step in the right direction.
I am a favor. I am a favor. I'm a fan. I'm a favor.
Cyber Beast and all-wheel drive.
Look at that.
Yep, you didn't need a special link or anything. Didn't need to be invited to configure. So whoever got those early access invite only to non-Foundation, you got like a 2-week head start. Congratulations on
Woot.
everybody else. Still don't understand why it doesn't get the tax credit, though. I'm confused by that.
It's a mystery.
So,
And the range went down officially now because you can't order the Foundation series, which has more range. Why does it have more range? I don't know, but
They added a few extra cells just for you and your troubles.
boo.
so is it like 120 kilowatt hours now instead of 123? Like what?
They would do that, wouldn't they?
They were like, we heard everyone complaining about the range being too little, so we shrunk it. Congratulations. Well, it's the end of an era.
Thank God.
Well, that just makes my reservation kind of silly because I still have it. The original one that I made the night of the Cybertruck unveiling.
Did you reserve with FSD though?
Yes.
Oh, well, then you have an asset on your hands, buddy, because that could shave off a whopping $1,000, enough money to buy an ultramarine iPhone 16.
Or you could just get one sponsored to you, Mike. An
We're just gonna
Ultra
keep this train going.
a 16 Pro Max.
The tactical gray looks way better on the website than it does in person. I'm sorry.
Oh, does it? Because I'm digging it. I was like, that looks so good.
It's not that shade. It looks like pitch
It's a lot
black on the
lighter.
website. In
Yeah, like
person, it's
obsidian.
very space gray.
Boo. Oh, God, I was hoping you didn't say those words.
Can I just say on the record, because there's probably not a ton of Cybertruck fans listening, but the amount of copium required by those Foundation series buyers to justify what they paid was pretty hilarious. It was quite entertaining. They were like, well, I mean, if you add the white interior and the $3,500 wheels and the power share backup and all it FSD, it actually is not that much of a premium. And I was like, would you have configured all those things though?
Meanwhile, you can get pretty much the same price and get up to 440 to almost 500 miles of range with a GMC
What?
Sierra EV Denali 1 or Edition 1.
Dude, you're not going to believe this, but I think I saw one of those.
I saw
Not
one
far
as
from my
well.
house.
I saw almost every single EV truck. I did a mini road trip to Reno and back again.
Oh,
And I saw pretty much everything but I guess a Lordstown and a Tello.
that's understandable.
But I did see the Denali. My wife was on the phone at the time, but it was going the other way, and I pointed at it, and I was very excited, but I couldn't say anything because the wife was on the phone. But I guess I was sweating slightly profusely while staring at it.
Slightly profusely.
I like the design of it.
What does that mean? Slightly profusely.
It's just like a little. What was it like?
Just a little, a lot.
A little lot. Yeah. Just a little lot.
That's like I like to vote for things. I lie myself far center.
I thought this is what I'm confused about with this article is I thought I read somewhere that GM is moving away from the term Ultium.
Well, maybe these people are using the word Ultium, but it is also a hyperlink. But they are also, they're decreasing the price for next year, but at least for right now, it actually might be following the Cybertruck, but it's got more range than whatever that giant polygon is.
Yeah.
So at least it has that going
pushing
for it.
Range higher.
And 350 kilowatts of charging potential.
Yeah, if you find a station that works and everything.
Hey, they're getting there. GM
pull up the Iona page. I swear to God.
I was gonna say
here comes Iona.
That's always my trump card to you. It's just an Iona company. They're gonna
it's
make
a very real JPEG.
Are you talking about their most recent article where it's like, here's the second one and it's still a picture?
I'm gonna say the Cybertruck can also get 350 kilowatts if you find a station that supports it, which is not likely, but it's the same thing with the GM vehicle.
That's a real JPEG.
Iona teases the design of its second DC fast charging station in Texas. Here's a nice image. It's a little.
Well,
can I make this bigger?
The range is impressive if you consider that the new EPA range standard for 2024 is much more strict than before. So I think there's a very real chance that the Denali exceeds the EPA range estimate in real world tests.
Oh my.
With the Hummer EV pack in it that no one wants to confirm, I think so.
Okay, well, it's good to hear you agree with me on that, Mike. Because you know what else was tested on the more strict EPA standard?
The Lucid Air Pure?
The Volkswagen ID Buzz.
Oh, no.
Which is now
available. It's already dead. Why do you keep getting it?
So if we're comparing it to older EPA tests, it might actually be closer to what like a standard range Model 3 or Y shipped with. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Also, it gets over 200 kilowatts, and it will soon have supercharger access via an adapter, and it's on a lower voltage architecture, so it can get over 200 kilowatts at superchargers once it does get the adapter. And they've designed it, at least the US spec. I've been watching a bunch of journalists drive around in the Bay Area, the new US version of the Buzz. And the door does, in fact, know if the charge flap is open, and the sliding door
so it closes itself and or stops the door. I like that.
They heard your complaints.
I got to tell Brittany. She didn't care, but she'll be happy.
The price is now my biggest problem with it, but that's it. I put up with the range. The range isn't great, but remember, this is 2024 EPA range. So I think it'll be a more true to life 230 mile-ish range and good charging speed, which I think is arguably more important.
Yeah,
that is more important.
I was going to highlight, I don't see them on the list here for coming soon. I see Nissan, Volvo, Polestar, and Mercedes.
Well, isn't Volvo and Nissan or Polestar the same company?
Yeah, but they want to delineate themselves for Tesla, I guess.
Very well.
To be fair, there's only one person running all of Tesla's charging team and website.
And he got fired.
And also, I was also going to
How do we downsize one employee by 10%?
I was also going to say the only Nissan that's coming soon is the Aria. So,
dude, why are there so many Arias everywhere? I don't get it.
People love it. It might be because do I have
brand loyalty?
Well, it's either that or it's the fact
Nissan
that it's pretty nice to lease.
Yeah, it's the leases. It's got to be the
leases. $169 per month for 24 months.
Bruh, crap.
We all should be buying the Aria.
That's cheaper than what most people pay for gasoline.
I gotta.
It's
Hang
cheaper
on.
than the Leaf.
What?
It's cheaper
Why?
than I guess. Sorry, the Leaf is $179 per month
169
for 36 months. I read that
times
wrong. My apologies.
36. There we go.
What? I don't
$6,084
understand.
plus with 6,200 due at signing plus 6,219. So you are paying out the door 12,300. No, that's the same as a lease. That's a regular 3-month
It
lease.
is a lease.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That like, there's nothing special about that.
The Nissan lease.
The need $12,000.
A lot of these figures then, which we did not go through, but you can see there's a lot of great lease deals with these. Even a Porsche Taycan you can lease for $899 per month for 39 months.
Oh, is that good?
Just
I don't know.
probably not, but they indicate that, of course, a lot of people are leasing these things because dealers don't know what to do and they want to increase sales.
They're like, get them off the lot.
Pretty much.
What do you think is causing this huge pullback in EV adoption?
The hype died down.
I think it's Electrify America single-handedly. I don't blame anything else.
Give a real answer. Don't stop it.
I'm serious.
I don't.
not joking.
I don't buy that. I don't. Well, I hope you're not serious because that makes no sense.
It started with, oh, there's non-Teslas out there with good range and fast charging. People bought them. People tried to drive with them. The experience was horrible. Negative news stories were published. The people who bought them wanted them gone because they couldn't road trip with them. So that shot down the resale value. So even the people who are interested in buying an EV, they'd much rather buy a used one for half the price. And all the people who were not interested in an EV are continuing to not be interested because if you look for negative EV stories, EA has aplenty. They're like, oh yeah, you want some negative EV press? We'll find it for you. Here you go. But
I don't disagree with that element of it. I don't know if that's the core thing because that hasn't changed. I feel like, to be honest with you, it might not be one whole thing. That might be, it might be a bunch of little things, and that being one of them. My observation from people from living in a very Tesla heavy city here, people who wanted them got them, and then other people just like, I'm never gonna buy an EV. Like they've already made up their mind. The people who wanted them have already gotten them, and if people are not renewing after a certain time, whether they're leasing it or they're just selling off, maybe. Well, with Tesla, like I can't help but always associate Tesla with Elon with Tesla, and so whatever he does affects the company, unfortunately. And everybody else is like they've already like committed to the literal lane they're going to stay in. So seeing people who seeing people with Ionic out here, like, okay, so they don't.
I don't know. Yeah, or Ionic. Yeah, sorry,
Ionic. Yeah, they don't.
I had Ionic on the mind.
They don't care about Electrify America. They don't care. I mean, my own personal experience just from within this own city, and remember what I saw in San Diego and now also in Virginia, most people are charging at home anyway for owners. So I don't think networks really dictated all that. People who were curious about it, if they had a bad experience, like that was never going to affect like the people who are curious about it were never part of the number of equation of like EV cells are growing. I think the sad reality is people are just bored and they're like, they all look the same now. The Blazer effect, as you guys always call it. I think there's a level of boredom with reliability to those who trust the EV side of things. Like, hey, it works, looks the same. I don't really care. Just like old regular gasoline vehicles. But the people who have doubts, their minds aren't being changed like that. And like the greater transition of mass adoption, you can't force people to get behind like this whole like we will no longer sell gas vehicles by this, like that doesn't do anybody any favors. Like that's just if I was like, if I'm being told I have to do that, like I would rebel on purpose. Like, no, shove it. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So people who wanted them already got them, or already in the process of getting them. People who didn't want them were never going to get them. And then somewhere in between, they're like, it's not where I would like it to be right now. I don't like the range. I don't like how long it charges. I don't like, maybe it is the network, like you were saying, Drew. I don't like this. I don't like Elon. I don't like my options, stuff like that.
I agree with a lot of that, Randy. I think,
but not all.
That's okay.
No, yes, and is what I'm trying to go for here.
Woo, suck it, Drew.
Pretty much the fact that, like, there's only so many ways you could design something until it's either an amorphous blob just for error reasons, or it's a giant square or toaster box that doesn't get the best range. And what people want is something that looks good and will take them a far distance. And so for something like Ioniq 5, it's a little bit different than the modern car because it's got a very much more digital look to it.
Yeah.
They want something a little bit more boxier, familiar, like a BZ4X is slightly Toyota, slightly Subaru looking in design. So it's in their ecosystem. That's what they want. And if it's not impressive in terms of what it has interior wise or exterior wise, or even in specs, people are going to be turned off by it and go with something else, a hybrid or something else that doesn't require as much of a change in their life. A good example is humans are very lazy and they also do not like change. And so both that of being lazy and not wanting change, those who haven't yet adopted don't really want to adapt their life to a new product that they have to drive around and figure out, where am I going to charge this thing?
It's not appealing.
Yeah. So I think that's part of the problem, in which I think part of the solution is a lot more education on how easy it can be to own one. And the lifestyle changes that you have to make aren't as large as you think. Or the other one's pretty much just throwing it to the wall and slapping solar on it like Aptera.
Yes.
And, making it go 1,000 miles, and you're making it go 1,000 miles, and your only sacrifice is it looks weird and it only seats 2 people. But at least it nails the range argument.
You don't need more than 2 people. Come on.
What's wrong with you?
There's always 2 people in the car. That's why you only need 2 people to get in the HOV lane.
Not here. You need 3.
That's weird.
You're weird and wrong.
It's usually 1 or 2 people.
Does Sage not count as a person? Get out. You don't get in this car.
They'll have a little jump seat for him in the Aptera.
That sounds like a 3rd seat.
It's a smaller seat, but yes.
I hate what you've become.
They ain't even paying me.
Yet.
Just wait until the sponsored section.
The right sponsorship will come along.
In which you already did with the floor mats, right?
Wait, what?
It wasn't sponsored, but they did send them to me.
I know what you're talking. This is not news. This is old. Never mind.
This is very old news.
I was about to lose
2
my
sets
mind.
of floor mats from 2 different companies, by the way.
Hey,
that's practical. That's good. That's just good negotiating right there.
You're testing out 2 different brands at the same time. That's just, in your own words, efficient.
Boom. Mike. He's just being efficient with his testing, Mike.
Exactly. Just throw the efficiency argument back right at him.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Anyway, I like efficiency.
Speaking of efficiency, I wanted to get your take on this, Randy. So in the Aptera community, which I'm not really in the Discord, but
neither am I.
Seems like a lot of people are getting annoyed by the fact that recently a lot of the orders for Aptera got pushed to 2026 when they've been targeting H2, which is second half of 2025.
Okay.
and there's a lot of people getting annoyed that this keeps on getting pushed back.
Okay.
The reality that I think that people aren't acknowledging is in this Discord server, at least semi-publicly. I think Chris McCammon is the one who talked about this, but he said the first around 60 is what they're targeting units are going to be built in 2025, and then the rest of them 2026 and later. But a lot of people are thinking this delay just shows that Aptera is not holding up to their word of building all the cars in the same year. Maybe. Or it's spelling something else for them that I'm not seeing inherently.
You said it keeps getting pushed. How many times has it got pushed?
Drew would know that figure a little bit more, probably, since he is our resident Aptera expert.
To be precise, many times.
That's pretty precise.
Guys, it's too late. You can't.
It's definitely been delayed, that's for sure. There were times where I think they originally said it would deliver in 2022. Obviously, that didn't happen. I'm willing to excuse it more because they're so small. Like, I think a lot of people forget that there's like 50 people at this company in total, and they're spending a fraction of what these other big startups spend. So the upside of that is when you're spending so little, you don't have to build that much to break even. The downside of that is you don't have a lot of funding at any given time, so you move particularly slowly. It becomes harder to hit timelines and hit goals because I'm pretty sure the PI2 builds that we're seeing posted on Twitter right now are being hand assembled by the CEOs. You know, you're not going to have that with. I don't think RJ was putting together the R3X night before.
You keep his name out of your mouth.
Wow.
Yeah. Tell RJ I'm excited for the new James Gunn movie to come up. But
Creature Commandos?
No. What the hell?
What the hell is even that?
Superman, son. Anywho, it's a downside for sure, but I think people are forgetting that there's context here. This is not the same company as a Tesla or a Rivian or a Lucid that's burning billions of dollars a month.
You're too close to the flame.
This is one of the
Drew.
downsides.
You're too close. You're too close. The forest through the trees. You can't see the forest through the trees. Mike asked me this question because I'm
Forrest works at Tello.
I'm not talking about Forrest. Oh my god! I wish I could click you out. I'm trying to click you out. I want to click you out.
Look at these parts.
This
production lighting.
I am the Mike in this situation when it comes to EV. The way Mike is about tech. I represent the everyman. I can understand. Context be damned, it does not matter if perception is reality for this type of stuff. When we're all working in a futuristic industry like EVs and trying to push towards the future of it, they don't care about context. Show me the product. And if what you're saying is that all these delays have kept happening, then I do understand the frustration. However, I don't really necessarily care because the way I see it, for any American-based EV company that is in the game, they have until 2030, according to the government. Even though these guys aren't making gas vehicles, in my mind, when an official agency, a government agency comes out and says 2030, that's when we're having EVs, boots on the ground, batteries on the ground going. In my mind, everybody got, don't matter that Tesla been releasing vehicles since 2013, you know, like everybody got till 2030. So do what you gotta do with that time. So if it's delayed till 2026, in my head, I'm like, well, it's before 2030, which I would want a company that's not big like Aptera or Canoe or whoever, never mind any investors, even Rivian, I would want all of them to be sink or swim 2030. In my mind, that's the cutoff date for any and all vehicles, legacy automobile makers or new startups. They all have till 2030. And then after that, the cards fall where they fall. And that's where it's at. So for Aptera specifically, I mean, I would rather they get it right the first time. Don't rush it. They haven't rushed it yet. So
Yeah.
if you've been in the community this long, you know what they're about. They haven't gone public for a reason. Like, they're being very careful about this. I respect that approach so much because it shows that they're taking it seriously. They're not looking for a buyout. Maybe they wouldn't mind if somebody partnered with them, but they're not dependent on that. They're like, we will do it at our scale, at our pace, and what will be. So anybody in the Aptera community, if they're getting frustrated, like, this is what you sign up for as an early adopter. These are the hurdles we have to struggle with. We don't have FSD yet. We're still technically in beta. We don't have we don't have so much of the future that has been shown to us. And this is what we agreed to as early adopters. So for that specific community, calm down. With that, I get it. Like, if you've been waiting this long and you're itching for it, you know, if it's a refundable deposit, then really calm down. And if somebody else comes along, Tello, Canoe, whoever, and they launch before that, and you're like, oh, that's neat and new and different looking, I'll get behind that. But all the same, like, we are waiting in line before a Black Friday sale. Like, we're it's not time yet. You're at the pre-order line to pick up day one an iPhone at an Apple store. It's not time yet. So I get getting excited and I totally get the passion, but like, let's be realistic about the bigger curve of where we're at for a US based company trying to do EVs. My brain, 2030.
How about you, Mike?
As an engineer, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. But in terms of some of the announcements that they make or the forward-looking statements, I think a lot more not politically charged in this term, but conservatism is what we use in the engineering industry, is building in a bit more headroom into your claims is probably the wisest decision to make. And which I get that there's forecasts that you make and it turns out that wasn't accurate. But it does leave a sour taste in the mouth when a company comes out and says it's going to be ready in like a year or a year and a half, and year and a half passes and they're still what seems to be in the same position. So I get the frustration. It makes total sense to me. But I think a lot of the current uproar on at least the most recent details to come out with when they're actually building these things with the more quote unquote accurate statement might be blown out of proportions just by hurt feelings over past words. But I don't disregard them because it is frustrating, especially as whenever Drew brought this up back in, I don't know, 2021, whenever I started going on the EV podcast or whatever, and Aptera finally came on the radar back again. And then I put in a pre-order thinking, this sounds amazing. The price is unreal. I could definitely see this as a commuting vehicle. And now it's like 2 or 3 years later, still waiting, but they can take their time. It's just, there's an expectation to be set. And it is quite annoying when a company does not adhere to it. So I understand it.
Yeah, that's fair. It's been a very long wait, and I'm sure it's an even longer wait for the investors who are kind of expecting to see some movement on their investment. A lot of people I've talked to in the past week that were very upset by the delay were pretty high up accelerators on the leaderboard. So I hear you. I mean, I'm not invested myself, but I could totally get why they'd be ticked off. But one thing that I will say is different about Aptera's situation versus Tesla's, a lot of people compare the two because it's like FSD, you said next year, it keeps getting pushed back, is that with Tesla or waiting on the Cybertruck or waiting on the Roadster, we see Tesla putting a lot of time and attention on other things while simultaneously talking about, yeah, but we're going to do this, but we're going to do this. And it's like, you haven't finished the last thing you talked about doing. In fact, I don't know if there's been much development or progress on the Roadster since it was unveiled. I get it that that's not as important for the business and they got bigger fish to fry, yada, yada, yada. But, you know, now we got some humanoid robots. Okay, cool, interesting. Show me where that goes. But also, we haven't figured out the robo-taxi thing yet. That's still hypothetical. The reason I laughed when Randy said full self-driving was because literally right as he mentioned that during his little spiel, I got a complimentary 30 days.
Wow.
So they're sending out this email. I also found out about it through X. And it says, at our We Robot event, we unveiled the future of autonomy. Now you can experience a part of the future for the next 30 days. So I vowed to myself I would never pay for FSD again. And yet it seems like they're just handing it out for free now. So
it's the Apple TV Plus situation all over again. You're getting a
I might have to use my referral credits on it, if I'm being honest. It might get to that point.
Really?
Yeah, the referral's stupid. You can't use it on anything subscription based.
Are we talking about Tesla?
Yeah.
You can't use it on premium connectivity?
That's false. Because
you can with the credits. You can't with the new system.
That's what you're saying with the new system. Okay, yeah. I was gonna say with the credits you can. With the new system, you're kind of limited to you buy stuff in the Tesla shop.
You can pay for service appointments. You can put it towards a new car. You can use it to pay for charging. I don't need to do that for a while, but still, I was like, what's going to happen? I don't even want FSD and I might have to buy it. Otherwise the credits will expire, because the only other option is either my car has problems and I take it in for service, which I am, by the way, because the windshield is cracked and the crack is growing. It's very bad.
Oh, you're having bad days, Drew?
I know where it's going.
You can't imagine what it's like, Randy, to be a father. It's just...
Congrats, Drew. I didn't know that you want to announce that here right now.
Father to a Model 3. And then you have to watch your...
Correct. It's actually been there for so long now. I'm starting to get used to it. It's getting bad.
That's not
just
good.
Like driving around with it. I'm like, yeah, this is a nice car. Oh wait, yeah, it's broken.
That's not good. Yeah,
but I'm thankful because if you recall, Mike, last time Nick was on, he's on hardware 3 and he got actually Smart Summon and 12.5 the day after my free 90 days expired. It was like right after, and I was like, now
just to spite you.
I've got a road trip down to Aptera in the next couple weeks, so I'll be able to use FSD on the road trip.
And you're not taking me?
You can come if you want.
You never invited me. What are you looking at?
I just don't have a place for you to sleep because I'm sleeping on my uncle's floor.
I can sleep below the floor.
Oh, he's gonna be dead. Oh, he dead. Oh, he dead.
But to Randy's point, saying 2030 is really the cutoff. You're not concerned about the Aptera losing demand to a hypothetical drivable cybercab?
No. No.
Jeez.
I love how similar these two vehicles are.
I don't.
I want this to be a product segment. I would be very interested in either of these. Aptera more, but yeah.
I don't trust it. I just don't trust it.
Which would you rather have? If either was free and being offered to you and you can't sell it, don't do the money thing. Just if you were going to have one as a secondary vehicle for commuting purposes.
I understand the assignment. Do you like? I'm not going to sell. I'm not going to give you a loophole. I understand
that one and sell it for twice the price.
And then I'll be able to
sell all my other vehicles, and then
I'll trade all of my cars in for one Ultramarine.
Marine Rivian. I'm going to buy a lot of iPhone 16s.
Could you trade in both your Teslas for a Rivian, Randy? Is that possible? I don't think you could.
I doubt it. Yeah, I doubt it. I really do. I doubt that.
Oh, and it's not overpriced.
So, question about between the two, am I getting that as the robo version or as a steering wheel, like I can actually operate it?
No. We're saying drivable to keep it fair, to keep it even between the two. So the speculation a lot of Tesla investors have is that, Tesla in the shareholder deck has mentioned that they have more affordable models coming in the first half of 2025. But that's all they'll say. They won't say if they're a variant of the 3 or why. So a lot of people think, to avoid Osborne, they are just going to ship one of these cars with a steering wheel and pedals so that they can ramp up production of that and sell it to individuals. And then when the software is ready, it won't. But when it's ready, they can just rip out the steering wheel and pedals because it's all steer-by-wire, brake-by-wire anyway. But that's the plan. I'm okay with dangling the carrot in front of Elon if it means we get this with a steering wheel. But
I would choose the Tesla then over Aptera.
Shame on you.
I would.
Okay,
explain
why you're wrong.
Listen here, you wait. Oh man, I wish my cat. I would. Where's the Alex Jones? What is your problem? No.
I don't have that queued up. I have to dig for that one.
I can't wait to tell you how wrong you are. Go ahead.
Me too.
Okay, guys.
Let's be objective about this.
First of all, I'll wait.
All right.
These sellouts, ladies and gentlemen of
fair.
Yeah. These sellouts, all of them.
All I'm saying is the CEO of Tesla never bought me dinner.
Damn.
He's not wrong.
Because that's just how hospitable we are down in San Diego.
You're not there.
Boy, it's in my blood. Check my area code. It's still 619.
I thought you were gonna say checkmate.
I thought he was gonna say catch me outside. How about that?
How about that? All right, Aptera 1 and 2, Thing 1 and 2.
Tell me why you want the painted gold wheels.
Yeah, well, literally, the tread is painted gold here.
Oh, Sage is crying.
Yeah, sorry. Because you made the wrong choice.
Probably my fault. Perhaps I should have treated you better.
Okay. All right, I'm back. Between the two, I don't trust the design for what I'm looking at, by the way. So that's all fake. It's just a coating on that. That's not real. I would take the Tesla one because Tesla, you could buy a Tesla right now. You can use it. You can use the network right now. And ultimately, politics aside or whatever the case may be, I trust Tesla's battery. And they are the most established that they've proven that if they do ship the product, because in your scenario, both of them are accessible, it's going to stay pretty close to looking like that. So I know that's what it's going to look like. And if anybody can make this weird thing work, it's them. That's why they're on top. If anybody can make it work, it's them. So what little left of Tesla fanboyism I have in me comes out when you're pairing me up against. Yeah, what little's left is look at the track record. Both companies delay things, but Tesla's
going to say they're pretty close, actually.
Tesla
both have the same points.
They've met.
Not a two-door.
I mean, we don't got a Roadster. We don't got any of those things. But for what it's worth, for what it is, even if they're late, behind schedule, they made it with the Cybertruck. They made it with the Model Y. They beat expectations with the Model Y. And if anybody has confidence in any of the two actually happening, then I would put my money behind Tesla. But your question is, which one would I take for free? And if they're both accessible, I would take that one because I could put my family in it. I can't put my family in the Aptera. Something would always have to compromise because that's a 2-seater. That's
They're
a
both two-seaters.
They're both two-seaters.
Yeah, but you can jerry rig some stuff to make it fit in the back.
Here that has a divider wall.
That's gonna go down. That's gonna go down the same way it can go down on a Model Y. That's good. You can.
Then it'll be just like an Aptera.
Except I trust Tesla. They have the history behind their battery, the performance.
Did you get your screen fixed in the Y, by the way? On a completely unrelated note, I'm just.
We totally went over the fact that he's got more problems with that thing, but yeah.
Yes, the screen's fixed. Yeah.
Okay, good.
They fixed it. Zero cost for it, which was I thought we would have to pay something, but we don't.
No.
So
warranty.
They fixed all that stuff. So the Model Y is back to being it's close to being my favorite car we've had. I alternate between that and the 3. I liked the profile of the 3, but the Y is just so much more roomier. The Aptera, I don't know enough. I've never got to sit in one. I've never gotten to test drive it. I don't know it the way you guys know it. I don't trust it.
Apparently going to see it in a couple of weeks. You can visit them there.
You haven't sat in either of them, to be fair, but
no, but that they're going to use most of the same parts for this one.
Look at those seats.
Those seats are not the same as anything else.
Neither were the prototype fake images of the Cybertruck, and we're fine. Everything's fine.
They were different, though. Knowing Tesla, this thing's going to be more expensive with less range. By the way, there's no charge port.
I don't care. I don't have to pay for it. That was the terms.
You need to get a whole new charging system with this thing.
No, I don't.
This thing comes with what you already have in your garage.
And
it charges itself.
I can't make that's too small for my use case.
This is too small?
Yes, not enough seats. I can knock down that wall back there and make some stuff.
If you knock down the wall, it's the same as the Aptera.
Yeah. Exactly. Except you have more headspace back there. You have more room to load up stuff. Even if it was just me, I have more room just with that back there to load things up than I could with the Aptera.
I think some forced perspective is messing with you.
Yeah.
Maybe, but
this thing is a lot more sloped. So you're not going to get as best headroom in it probably compared to this thing. But do you really trust
this is a lot smaller, is my point.
Okay.
It's about your dimensions inside the cabin that you can work with, right? Like that. There's a significant difference between a Model Y and a Model 3, even though they're not that much different from what you're looking at, but there is so much more room in a Model Y by design. This is like the perfect blend of the 3 and the Y. Like that.
It is the blend of the 3 and the Y.
That could theoretically be
the
best. That could theoretically be the best selling Tesla if they actually make it for consumer steering wheel and all. That can
a 2-seater.
Yeah, that for the price. Yes. If we have to take everything at face value for the price that they're saying, that would be the best selling.
I don't know if I agree.
They never said anything about putting a steering wheel on this thing. So
no, but we're playing that.
I'm saying the price they said was under $30,000.
Yes.
Or around 30,
which
is what they said.
Like not substantially cheaper than a Model 3, which would have longer range, faster charging, and 5 seats. And that's not even mentioning the Y is the best seller.
Yes, but people, you're taking the best of both of those models and you're putting it in this one. I can't believe you guys have me defending Tesla like this. How dare you?
I know, I'm shocked.
Just
You're
because
usually
just,
such a
Well, you're
Tesla
not
guy,
even
so-
defending the thing that's built in the place that you love, and you abandoned it, I guess. So you're gonna abandon this thing.
well,
I
according to
see.
you, Mike, I'm not there anymore, so why should I care?
Oh, so now you're gonna admit it. All right, fine enough.
Don't
Fair
Never
enough.
mind the property I owned, the
Don't break
family
up.
I have, the memories, the area code of my phone number.
No,
Memories
you'd
don't
rather
My driver's
defend,
license.
Texas company.
Texas, a company.
Heck yeah. Yeehaw, partner.
Ugh. No. Why do you think the Y outsells the 3, Randy?
Well, because crossovers are the most popular build.
That's why the CyberCab wouldn't outsell the Y or the 3, probably. It's also going to be fairly low range. I think you're forgetting that.
Do we know what the range is on that thing?
The engineers did some wink winks with Top Gear.
What's the wink wink?
They said
Because I have no idea.
around 200. Less than the Volkswagen ID Buzz.
wait. Around 200, give or take. How is this with its? We're not playing the game anymore. Now I just got questions. How is that? How is that supposed to work with this capacity if it's supposed to be driving around all day and it doesn't have fast charging at a supercharging because it's got some inductive charging? How is that supposed? Make the math. How does that work?
I think the logic is to make it as lightweight and as small and as cheap as possible, because it's intended for the vast majority of Uber Lyft rides, which are usually 1 to 2 people. And by keeping the battery pack small, also because they know they're going to be running 24/7 all day for months and months at a time. I don't believe any of this, by the way. I'm just telling you the vision. But the vision is this thing is running 24 hours a day for months and months at a time. So you need high cycle life, which is why they wouldn't use nickel manganese cobalt chemistry. They'd probably use LFP. And estimating from their numbers, which were 5.5 miles per kilowatt hour, that thing would be like a 35 kilowatt hour pack. And
so we own this to send it off to work for 24 hours.
I mean, that's what they think.
That's the dream.
This feels like a pyramid scheme.
It is. It very much is. But my point is, Elon is a crazy mastermind genius, and there's certain things he's really smart about, other things he's not as smart about. But one of the things I think he's really smart about is figuring out like how to scam it. No, I'm sorry. but what he's trying to figure out is like, how do we bypass the car market entirely? Because ultimately, no, on a more real personal note, I don't think he's an evil man who's just trying to get rich. There's much easier ways to get rich than what he's doing. What he's doing
is
is
good at it if he's trying to get rich. I mean,
right. He wouldn't have bought Twitter if he just was in it for the money. Yeah. What he's thinking is that the missions to Mars, to colonize Mars, are going to be very expensive. Even if they drastically reduce the cost of payload to orbit by 1,000x, it's still going to cost trillions of dollars. The only way he's going to be able to get trillions of dollars to ship people to Mars is if he has a bunch of shares in the most valuable company on Earth. So he's thinking, how do I utilize the assets of Tesla as a brand to create insane value? And they just know that the margins aren't there in the car market. You can't justify a $2 trillion market cap by making $1,000 on a car that you sell 5 million of. That's just, there's not enough money there. So he's thinking we need to leapfrog the car market by making an autonomous vehicle that is driving all day, every day, that can replace 5 vehicles. And it gives you your time back because now you don't have to drive. So I'm okay with the concept of Tesla as a company dangling the carrot, which is robotaxi, in front of Elon, if it means we get closer to a cheaper, more efficient, drivable vehicle. And we have some very manipulative executives at the company go, yeah, and we totally believe you, Elon. We totally believe that this is all going to happen and come true. But while we're waiting for regulatory approval, when we're waiting for the laws to change, we just, just slap a steering wheel and pedals in there, just sell it as is. And that way we can iron out the assembly line, get the kinks out. And then once regulatory approval is ready, we just snatch that steering wheel out of there and boom, you've now got a fully ramped mass volume production robo-taxi and you flood the market with them. Sound good? In the back of your head, you're thinking that's not going to happen. But in the short term, we get the vehicles out, deliver them with mirrors, steering wheel pedals. But in order for that carrot dangling to work, we need to have as similar parts between the robotaxi and the drivable CyberCab as possible, which I think means probably not a huge battery pack. It's not going to have a ton of, it probably won't have a ton of storage space. Like there's no frunk because it's probably front wheel drive. It's a very low powered motor, very basic motor because it's not a performance vehicle. It's probably the first Tesla that's not designed to be quick. It's just meant to be smooth, simple, and efficient. So everything's on the screen. There's no door handle anywhere. You got to do it through the mobile app because they're like, who cares if people don't like that in their day-to-day ownership because it's going to be a taxi soon. And you just keep dangling that carrot. So the consequence of that is you might end up living with a vehicle that was intended to be autonomous that isn't.
Kind of like my Model 3.
Similar, but even worse. Slower, less range, less charging, less comfortable, less buttons. So less buttons than a 3, if you can believe it.
I can't.
Is the bench even adjustable? Right?
I don't think
individual
so.
Seats? Yeah.
Probably not.
So you're gonna have to go the oh goodness, what car is it? Is it a Miata? Where only the steering wheel moves?
It might be that basic, yeah. I mean the steering wheel might be like Fisher Price. Boop, boop.
Baby's
you could
first
pretend
car.
to drive.
My son would love it.
Look at that. This is your son's first car.
I am so against this future with Tesla. I don't align with that at all.
So why did you choose it then?
Because I think that would honestly, I again, it goes back to I trust the battery. If I had to pick one, they're both free. I'm keeping it. One less app I have to download. It's one more thing I understand.
Wow,
that's what this all.
That's the laziest way of saying.
Well, I don't. I mean, why do I give a like? I'm not. I didn't drop.
This one charges itself off of sunlight.
That's my biggest selling point on this thing.
I don't know. I have an element of skepticism with Aptera as a whole, like with this thing. I'm paranoid. I've been burned too many times. I don't want to believe. I will believe either one of them when I see it. I don't trust Robotaxi, and I don't think this thing's coming out in 2026, which is fine. 2030 for me. So when I'm in my 40s and I'm halfway through my life on my deathbed, but then I'll move back to using like a gas vehicle or something because everything blew up. Everything went wrong. They canceled all the rebates. There's no more incentives. The battery
AI turned off the battery.
The AI Cyberdyne systems came online. Skynet came online.
Aptera never got the incentive, so you're good.
I don't know. I'm very worried that going back to the previous conversation we had with this, that like I'm very worried that now that the hype is slowing down, that this is just another iteration of EVs that was like it had its moment, it's dying down, and it will have another, like things go like this, it'll have another one, a bigger one for a little bit, then it'll die down. And I'm worried that companies are going to cut corners. They're not going to fully commit. They're going to make cheap products, which they're not going to be incentivized to use or do, which means consumers are not going to want to buy those things. And then it hurts the EV community. Things like a Tesla, Rivian, Aptera, you name it, whatever. I'm worried that all this future talk with autonomous this and blah, 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 that we've lost sight of just the core fundamentals. Why, like, just make a really kick-ass product, sell it for as cheap as you can, for as best as you can, and then make it. It's not out yet. I can't commit to it. It's not out yet. And it's a 2-seater.
Neither is the other one.
I don't care. You made me choose. I chose the one I've owned for 5 years. So I went with the one I know.
No, it's not the same car.
But it's the one I know. I trust it more than the other one that's not out. I don't care about that one. And this one's not out either. I don't care about
one of these has CarPlay.
Dude, done. Sold. Next gen CarPlay. Next gen. I changed. I regret my choice. I think that's everything. I said.
We found it. We found the
CarPlay.
point.
We found the dead to rights. Dead to rights, man. CarPlay.
I blinked and somehow he's back on Aptera. Okay.
I'm telling you right now, I'm back on CarPlay. I hate these proprietary. I hate them so much. It steers me wrong all the time. It does not acknowledge that there's construction happening. But you know what does? Every time I open up Apple Maps, it works. Anything that has Apple Maps, like I will go behind that. Yeah, there you go. Next time, yeah, don't make it so simple. Next time, just talk about CarPlay. I'll go with CarPlay. Done.
Mine physically steers me wrong to work every day.
I can't wait.
I still haven't fixed my dash cam for the Model 3, so I haven't used FSD in like over 90 days. I've never felt happier.
I'm having fun with mine.
You bought FSD and I didn't, and yet I'm going to have it for the next 30 days and you won't.
I don't.
You already did before. You already did that before earlier.
Hey, if we get that same promo email that you got, Drew, for the Model Y, I'll test it for the Y. I'll have fun trying it, but I'll never do it with Sage in the car. I just won't. I can't. It's too scary.
Can you even drive the Y right now, Randy?
Yeah.
What was the car that we didn't get into? What happened recently with your car?
Oh, that was the Model Y.
How am I in the know when you just realized this?
I thought you were talking about the display.
No, I'm talking about.
Yeah. So Drew cracked his
getting screwed.
I literally got screwed as Drew was
sent
fixing
me that photo.
As Drew was complaining about cracked windshields. My PSI went from 37 to 4 in less than 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's pretty quick. Teslas are known for being pretty quick.
Dude, that
FSD hit that pothole, it went to 0 in 1 second. It was amazing.
Quickest acceleration and the slowest acceleration.
Dude, we had to pay a whole new set of tires, and each tire for a performance. We had to pay for a whole new set because if we just replace that one, the tread is too different for the other ones, and it was
Is it a staggered setup on the performance?
Yep.
Yes.
It's wider on the back.
Oh, you're right. That does suck.
Bigger and wider.
You know what doesn't have a staggered layout?
If you say Aptera, I'm going to spit in your coffee.
You know what does have a staggered layout?
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care. I will keep cursing and give you more work. I don't care.
All I'm saying is,
Ricky Gervais. Shut up. He's your friend. I don't care.
Even if you had to replace all the tires, the Aptera would be cheaper because there's 3,
and they're smaller.
And they are smaller.
I do not care.
CarPlay.
I 100% care. 100% care. Tello, Aptera, Volvo, whoever.
You'll love the Tello.
The perfect small truck that I can't. Mike introducing me to Tello was the greatest. It's okay, freaking.
When am I getting my merch?
Drew over here
breaking out all the merch. He's got the hat. He's got the cup.
Drew is a NASCAR driver with all his logoed sponsors.
Drew wears many hats at this company.
Just one.
I'm gonna say this on air. I want Tello merchandise. Come on, Tello. In which you are the ambassador for them here. So come on, Drew. I get it. It's early days. I want some Tello stickers at least.
When am I coming down next? I have some. I can give you them.
Excuse me? You've had these? And you've been hoarding them?
They're in my car right now. don't know what that was.
Surprise scream from the background. Louise heard and she screamed as well. She's like, "What?"
She found the stickers.
Is everything okay over there?
Probably. We're
Wow.
probably watching
So we have
Smiles
Sage
2.
cry. We've got Louise scream. Now we're just waiting for something on my end.
No, please don't. You can't afford. You can't afford anything.
I can't afford anything. So,
No,
Randy, I guess we didn't finish the story.
Yeah,
So you got some
so,
new tires.
I had to replace all four, and unlike Model 3 or regular not performance vehicle, they're not like $100 a tire. They're like closer to $3. They're $3 something a tire. And I looked at my wife and I was like, so still want to get still proud about this performance purchase that you were so adamant about?
Oh, Randy.
So I live in the basement now.
I was gonna say that's one
I was
way
gonna
to
say,
bury yourself.
are you
into
tired of
something.
sleeping? Yeah.
Yeah, my life was too good. I'm like Elon. I thrive on chaos. I get off on it or something, dude. But you know what the problem is? Because like I'm the one who I hit something, but that's not true. I didn't even hit it. This road construct.
You hit it, and then you asked her if she was regretting
Yeah. It was me. I'm the reason why there's a tire because I drove it.
You hold on to that woman, and you hold on tight, Randy. She is a keeper.
I got her for at least another 17 years, so you know. I got
it's crazy.
Hey, we got to keep it interesting somehow. I've been with her since 2013.
That is a forgiving wife. My God.
Oh, you have no idea. Yep. And I'm like, I wonder how much further does this elastic band stretch? I wonder. Oh, it pops. Ah, my eye.
Oh.
So all tires got replaced, but we are selling the other 3 on like Facebook Marketplace or something. We're going to sell the other 3.
For some reason, I thought you meant you were selling the Model 3 when I heard that. I was like,
no, we're selling the other 3, not Model 3. Other We're selling the Model 3
like
so
Randy
we can afford
just dropped that
the tires
so casually.
Yeah, so my screen went out on the Model Y. We got a pop tire on the Model Y, so I'm selling the Model 3 so I can afford.
Selling my working vehicle. Makes sense.
So we can afford the upkeep of the Model Y. That's so funny.
This is an unrelated story. I'm sorry about your tire though. That sucks.
That's a very tiring experience.
Mike is gonna make a great dad one day. That was top tier. That's something I should have.
I'm already but
afford it.
I was editing a video about the Cybertruck, and I pulled up the old specs because I was talking about how if you recall, maybe I remember more vividly because we were all talking about it at the time. But when the Cybertruck was first unveiled, the design was not very loved at all.
Right.
But it was the specs. Everyone loved the specs.
Yep.
And Tesla basically pulled a here comes the airplane, and they got us to fall in love with the design by promising those amazing specs, only to last second have none of those specs. But by the time it came out, it was like, well, I guess the design's pretty cool though. Because I've been staring at it, drooling for 5 years. But I pulled up the old specs off the old configurator before they changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I laughed so hard when I read full self-driving, $10,000. Adding it to your order now secures its price as it increases over time. And I was like, do you think they honor that if your order comes up, you have to pay more for FSD because you clicked 10,000? Don't do it, folks. Foundation series is over. You can just order it all over again now.
We still haven't got our refund, our $100 back.
Yeah, Nick lost all of it, I think.
Oh my God.
Oh,
he lost like $600 because the credit card he used to order them expired. That was a genius move on Tesla's part. It's a refundable deposit. Waits till the card's expired. All right, your card's ready.
What's it's like Gen 1 type of memes where it's like made 6 different deposits. Didn't matter, you know.
I locked in my FSD.
Oh,
I saw people saying that in the comments when I was like, hey, the non-foundation is out. They were like, well, Drew, you were wrong. Look, they're honoring the FSD price. And I'm like, yeah. So you saved $1,000
what's
on
the
FSD, and the truck costs $30,000 more than they said.
I think the meme is called like Bad Luck Brandon or Bad Luck Brian. Bad Luck Brian. You need a not so fortunate Nick or something like that. And then just a photo of him like.
No, he is fortunate. He got that used Model 3. That was an insanely good deal. That made up for all the losses with the Cybertruck order.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm still mad at him about that.
I'm sure he'll get over it. I'm sure he'll find a way to sleep tonight. He'll find some way to make it right. No, but what's interesting, because I'm looking at the old configurator here. This was such a too good to be true moment. Even in 2019, thinking that a single motor truck would be 40,000, I was like, "There's no way." But I remember that's why people were throwing money. I was like, "Well, let's find out. We'll get our money back." But I just looking at just the simplicity of like, there's no, single, dual, tri-motor, and 40,000, 50,000. 70,000, and
we'd be lucky to get anyone for 70,000 now,
dude. Like a tri-motor for 70,000. Yeah, I it was too good to be true. It was too good to be true. I drank the Kool-Aid a little too hard.
When is the single motor coming, you guys think?
It's not.
I think it will.
Give it a year and a half.
What's 2027?
Yeah,
I could get with that. I can get with that.
I just wonder how many people are. Tonight's the big moment. We were like, how long are they going to keep asking for Foundation Series pricing before they just officially drop it? They've dropped it now. I wonder if the true demand of the Cybertruck will start to scare them. They'll be like, oh crap. Not as many people wanted this thing. Turns out when you raise the price and lower the range, people don't like it. Weird. What? And I'm like, I wonder if the demand of the cheapest one, the $80,000 one, will affect how quickly they roll out the single motor. Be like, crap. Here, have a cheaper one.
Will it not matter based off of just how well the sales are going for the Model Y and the Model 3? Like, it's all the same bottom line, right? Like, however those perform help.
Separate assembly lines, though. They're not really borrowing.
But money's money. It's if it's a production thing, on paper they're fine. They're okay.
Yeah, I don't think they want them sitting around the factory.
I agree. I agree with that.
Prices more.
Thank you. Thank you.
I could probably touch up.
He looks like me, dude.
That is you.
Drew is.
I have pictures of my high school years that look just like that. I'll find it.
Thank you, Mike. That is Drew. That's so funny. This is Drew.
I can also do it with Nick as well. I think I've got a few photos of him somewhere in here.
I would not be surprised if you did. I'd be shocked if you didn't have any photos of him. Reserve Cybertruck to save money on FSD. Credit card expired.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
There's a point in my life where my hair was more like that. Let me find it.
Where you had the bowl cut.
Yeah. While he finds that, I do hope the same thing does not happen to I guess it won't, because Aptera and Tello and many others aren't making the same mistakes as Tesla in regards to FSD and all that. But I do hope they don't fall into the same pitfall that is a very large increase on the actual product in terms of price.
Do you think they have control over that, Mike? Like, do you actually think that that's on Tesla or any future company for that matter that they had to do that, or do you feel like, yeah, they're
It's a
just
combination of so many things. I think the Cybertruck was in the perfect storm of bad luck. Oh my gosh, Drew is bad luck, Brian.
dumb luck, Drew? Oh,
Dumb luck.
I'm trying to think of a
dreary Drew, except that's not. What's that photo right there in the top, in the middle?
You'll have to be more specific.
that
Second
one.
row, yeah. No, you just had your mouse on it.
This is awesome.
Wow, that looks redneck as heck.
Yeah, this is me. I'm convinced that's me.
Started a network so we can have all these channels. Doesn't matter. Didn't count.
I mean, here's what it looks like
Combines
now.
them into one.
Oh,
shape.
that's a very terrible quality, but there is a picture of the guy when he's older. He doesn't look as close to Drew, but
he glowed up. He looks good. I'm proud of him.
I'm proud of him too. I can only imagine everything that he's been through at this point. Yeah, I think it's mainly the Cybertruck was a function of the perfect storm of a very pushy CEO, a very interesting engineering project, ambitious goals, and then
pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID, but like a bunch of delays that just turned it into a giant mess in terms of a project that these engineers had to figure out. And then the manufacturing folk had to figure out too, which then probably spurred on the 4680 line. Who knows if that would have been a thing if the Cybertruck would have ever existed, or at least if it was ever incepted, if the 4680s ever came around or not.
Is anybody else using the 4680s?
Rivian's going 4690, I think.
But not
right now. Tesla's the only one using.
I saw some article that was talking about fat batteries.
Sorry.
There it is. Found them. It literally, the article is called Panasonic's Big Fat Battery Cells Are Set to Change the EV Game. Well, maybe.
I don't know if the charging curve on the 4680 Model Y is anything to go by. It's not very good. It's not very impressive.
Impressed? No. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Panasonic is doing 4680s.
Yeah, but I mean, like, is besides Tesla, is anybody else using 4680s?
Kind of Rivian.
Kind of Rivian.
And that's not out yet, so not really.
So I'm gonna say no. So I guess my real question is, did this bite them in the butt?
I think so. I mean, Baglino was the one announcing everything at Battery Day, and he's gone. So it's like all these grand visions of what the 4680 was supposed to be. It didn't really live up to any of the claims. So Tesla's just doing damage control, basically, but maybe it's just taking longer. They want to improve the energy density, but it's still got a ways to go. The fact that now the entry-level, most efficient Cybertruck actually has worse range than it did a month ago is not a good sign. And
took out 3 kilowatts or whatever.
Yeah, right. And they are still acting like the range extender is going to be a thing, which is
that's right on their website.
Kind of a big compromise. It's kind of just a big like, we can't fit any more batteries. Just throw them in the back.
First option is, what do you want, all-wheel drive or Cyberbeast? Second option is, do you want to put a giant battery bank in the back of your
non-refundable deposit? Jeez.
For $2,000. Let's do this 6 times. See what happens. Oh, wait.
There you go. No, and I mean, look at the Silverado EV getting like 500 miles in it. That's not with a big extender in the back.
No, they've fitted
it still
in.
Has a full bed.
The Ultium Pack is turning out to be, I've got a better image of it. The Ultium Pack, which they're now rebranding as something else.
Sorry, I hate that design so much.
You don't like the GMC Sierra Denali Edition 1? Gosh.
The Silverado is better, but
really? Okay. I like the GMC's design.
This just looks AI generated to me. It was like they had 15 people design the front.
Isn't it supposed to be all weird looking? Because otherwise, what's the point? Like,
It's like they gave a grid of 15 different designers, and they're like, you design this part, you design this part, and then they all put all their ideas into the hood.
I feel like
I like it.
Is a lot more. No, it's way too blown up. A little bit more AI generated, especially with the sail and whatever the heck is going on with this grill.
I don't like that one. I like the other one.
This looks a lot.
Final
cleaner.
thoughts.
I think I'm over.
Look at the time.
I think I'm over minimalism for vehicle design aesthetics.
Randy's into brutalism now.
No, I just if you're gonna be obnoxious about it, like whatever you're gonna do, commit to it. Like go all out on it. And this one is out loud annoying, so I like it.
But you get a full bed at the end of the day.
It's an unapologetically obnoxious, loud looking car, and I'm like, well.
You know how many pedestrians that thing's gonna kill?
Hopefully none, because it never ships.
This is out right now, Randy. People are driving this around right now.
Then all of them. Everybody's gonna die.
I saw one as well.
It's a GMC. GMC. Did you know General Motors is General Motor. Did you know GM kind of pioneered the whole like planned obsolescence thing?
Probably so.
That makes so much sense.
I don't want to go too far because I just realized like it's late. So I don't remind me this next week. Like I want to present a use case about planned obsolescence kind of technically kind of started with GM. And for that, I will never forgive this company. Like it will always be the worst. What's up, Mike? What's up? Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say one last thing after you're done with that.
Oh, okay. No, that's pretty much it. I'm derailed now.
Okay. As one last thing, I wanted to thank Jonathan, Brandon, Timu, and Rajan for using my referral code.
Hey.
I see that you used it. I appreciate it. And a public shout out, of course, to Drew for using my referral code on there. But yeah,
No
it'll definitely go to good use for service visits and all that. We'll figure out what to do with them. Hopefully Tesla opens up the new referral program for more things with the referral codes. But congrats to y'all. I think Jonathan was the first one in this giant list of referrals they've had that ordered a Model 3. The rest have been Model Ys the whole entire time. So good on you, Jonathan, for getting a Model 3. But yeah, just want to say that publicly. If you listen to this podcast or don't, I appreciate it. And yeah, you guys are awesome for listening to us. And we'll see you next week.
But the 3 is better. Bye.
No.